call it. People have, different terms for these kind of things. But definitely an assassination. High-level political leader. The most powerful, I guess you'd call him, secular leader in Iran. And people are, of course, I don't know, tonight was weird, I'll tell you why. By the way, I'm just assuming you know this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I don't know. This isn't the podcast for you, Periscope for you. This is the people who know. So tonight's been interesting because I have been against every regime change war there is. When Trump bombed Syria under what we now know to be a false pretext, I was against that. And I'm against the regime change war in Iran. But tonight is interesting because I'm being called a neocon and a pro-regime change war person because I'm happy that a terrorist was killed. So tonight is definitely a very weird night where I'm being called a neocon who wants war because I'm happy a terrorist was killed. This is a new one for me. I've been very principled against all these regime change wars, still against, but when a terrorist, and not just a terrorist, Posobek's here, there's some vets here, there's some people who deployed are here. Everybody who's deployed will tell you that Iran, they have the best soldiers, the Iraqi soldiers are garbage, and the Iranians would train Iraqis. We all know this. General Flynn, he this great New Yorker article. Why do you think, by the way, they went after Flynn? Because Flynn understood this stuff. And you can read, of course, Flynn's great book about Iran. We know that the bombs, all the stuff was coming from Iran because the Iraqis are not sophisticated. They were just kind of a joke. So the person who was killed is the one who's been responsible for the deaths of most people in the Middle East. So when he dies, I'm supposed to be, I don't know, sad, upset, angry. Tonight is separating the men from the boys, the women from the girls, the people who can think from the people who can't think. Tonight is the best example you'll ever see of what I call the scourge of binary thinking. Oh, you're happy that a terrorist died, therefore you support war. Wow, imagine to be that dumb. I can't imagine. Imagine to be so dumb and illiterate, I guess semi-literate, because if you're on Twitter you can read. But imagine being so dumb that you can't parse out how someone could simultaneously be against regime change wars in the Middle East and also be happy that the mastermind, a friend of mine died in Iraq, Brian Slovinas. There's this a little morbid, but two people from my officer candidate class profiled the New Yorker. My good friend Brian Slovinas for dying in Iraq, and Mike Cernovich for influencing the 2016 elections. So officer candidate school class 4499 had two people who were notable and newsworthy enough to be profiled in the New Yorker. And I always think of that in kind of a morbid thought to have, actually. The article, by the way, is a beautiful article, The Lost Son, and it's about, we were in the aviation unit together, and OCS class 449, you can check people. It's like, you list, Cernovich. You mean go to basic training in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, Charlie Battery 1st and 19th, or go to advanced individual training, Fort Gordon uniform, 31 uniform, or go to officer candidate school. Oh, okay, you got me there. I'm such a chicken hawk or whatever. But tonight you're just seeing a lot of dumb people who can't realize that it's possible to be glad that a terrorist is dead while maintaining that the regime change war is bad and recognizing that tonight could be an escalation or maybe not. Now what Trump's doing, by the way, this is right here. I think this man is actually blackmailed. You can sue me, Chris Murphy, if you want to, because I would like to go into discovery. Here's what Senator Chris Murphy said after the embassy had been attacked, led by Iran. The attack on our embassy is horrifying but predictable. Trump has rendered America impotent in the Middle East. No one fears us. No one listens to us. This is 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Check the date. 12/31/2019. No one's afraid of Trump. This is today. Did America just assassinate, without congressional authorization, the second most powerful person in Iran? Shut up. Shut up. You traitor. I don't know if you're blackmailed. I don't know if they got material on you. Shut up. Right? Oh, America's impotent. We can't do anything. Nobody's afraid. What a disgrace. This is why, by the way, you can't have this impeachment in the Senate. This is the caliber of people that you have in the Senate. We go from, oh, nobody's afraid of Trump, to, oh my God, I can't believe Trump killed the second most powerful man in Iran. And by some accounts, he might be the most powerful in terms of militarily and whatnot. This is who we're dealing with. This is a senator. So I don't know, Iran, they have a lot of blackmail material on people. So I don't know what they have on Chris Murphy, but you know, Chris, you want to sue me or something like that? I'd love to get you under oath, buddy. Because this is the commentary of somebody who's been compromised. This is not the commentary of American patriot. This is not the commentary of an American senator. This is the commentary of somebody who's been compromised by a foreign regime. Because people who are true Americans wouldn't say this. You can't just flip-flop like this. You're in the Senate. So I don't know. I don't know what he's up to, but I'm going to certainly look into him. And I never looked into him before, but I mean, this is just beyond suspicious, right? Now, we got a comment here. Oh, YouTube. So I'll read the comments at YouTube. We got a super chat. So if you're on YouTube, you can super chat me. A guy said, the point is your happiness at their demise is akin to a Pyrrhic victory. Personal satisfaction is far outweighed by the prospect of a forced war. I'm going to see if I can just refund this. I read your comment because I don't know. How do you refund a super chat? I don't know how to refund this. You're so wise. You're so wise. The weight of the world is upon you. You have such gravitas. You learned Pyrrhic victory. Probably just Google that on Wikipedia, what that really meant. Nobody knows right now what's going to happen. Could be the opposite. It could be that the Iranian people, 40% of the population of Iran, or 50% of the population of Iran is under 40. It could be that they see this as their opportunity to take Iran back. Could be. We don't know. But you're just like, oh, I feel the weight of the world. You don't know, feel nothing. You're nothing. You've done nothing in your life. You have no idea. No idea. Oh, we've set off a cat. You don't know. You don't know anything. And that's what you're just seeing, a lot of little cowards who don't know anything. If there's inklings for regime change war, first person here. By a lot of accounts, and I mean credible accounts, not fake accounts, but people who are in the know, you're looking at the person who, thanks to others of you who'd watched it, stopped the Syria thing in 2017. So if you weren't around for that, and you want to come here and talk to me, how dare you? How dare you destroy my childhood? How dare you? But in all seriousness, how dare you? Were you around in 2017? I was the lone voice. We know where this is going. I even reported the airstrikes before anybody even had that story. See, then you want to come here and say I'm somehow supporting regime change or I'm a neocon or whatever because I'm happy a terrorist has died? Oh, but you just can't see how far out I can see. Where were you in 2017? I predicted massive, massive world affairs. I've changed world affairs. So the answer right now, no one knows. And this is, again, where you can tell people who are major league and minor league. I'm perfectly content with saying, I'm happy he died. Let's be aware of regime change wars. OODA loops, responsive. Factor in information as it comes. Respond quickly. And I'm also comfortable with saying, as of right now, we don't know. We can guess. We can say, oh, this is going to cause World War III. We can guess. Maybe it will. Maybe we can guess. We don't know. And maybe something better will happen. Maybe what will happen is that the people of Iran, again, half the country's under 40. Remember those riots because people couldn't afford eggs? People couldn't afford petrol? I love how everybody suddenly is, expert on Iranian domestic affairs, right? Like, you remember their big protests? The Iranian government can't just do whatever it wants. They have a lot of people, and this is organic. This is not, of course, there's always going to be the CIA, trying to do these things. Always, but the people want to change, inside their country want to change their country. So it could be that Iran, maybe they overplay their hand, and that gives the people an opportunity to oust the regime. Or it could be that ISIS takes over Iraq and things are 100 times worse. Right? It could be. It could be that what happened tonight was a complete and total catastrophe in ways that we can't even begin to comprehend. It could be that today was, who really knows? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. We'll have to kind of wait and see. Or it could be today was a beautiful event that is going to give morale to the people, and maybe the people who want freedom within their own country can start working for that. And we don't know. Nobody knows. Right? And then we have, religious people who believes that this is the end times because central to the Christian story, this guy really has me triggered. I hate to be a delicate snowflake as the boomers call it. This guy really, Chris Murphy, I'm really upset by this. You're literally saying Trump has rendered America impotent in the Middle East. No one fears us. No one listens to us. Oh, how dare he kill the second most powerful person in Iran. I'm really, sometimes I dwell on things and I try not to, but I'm really angry by this. 2 days ago, nobody's afraid of us. We're weak. And now today, how dare he? I'm mad by this. And not much in politics gets me mad. But this is at best naked partisanship. And at worst, this is a senator who's been compromised by Iran. Now, we can speculate on that now, right? Oh, what do they got on Lindsey Graham? Mainstream reporters get to say, well, Lindsey, boy, he's pro-Trump now. What do they got on him? We're just speculating. Don't call it a conspiracy theory. Just wondering, just asking questions. Is there compromise? A word, of course. I love when everybody learns these new fake words, like demagogue. Oh, Trump's a demagogue. You just learned that. Nobody talked like that 3 years ago. Compromat. Now you're like, oh yeah, you're such a spy playing. Is there compromat on Trump? Steele dossier. Oh, it was so cool. This is what compromat looks like. This freak show. Either that or he just is a complete partisan, ridiculous hack who has no morality and no principles and can't be trusted with an impeachment. Trump has rendered America impotent in the Middle East. No one fears us. No one listens to us. Trump killed the second most powerful man in Iran. That's too much power. Which is it, bro? Which is it? Right? So I'm going to call it Big Dick Energy. Hashtag Big Dick Energy. So Chris Murphy had said that Trump was impotent. Chris Murphy cannot handle Trump's. This is the year of Big Dick Energy. I meant to tweet that out. I thought that'd be too vulgar. So there's that little 2020 meme floating around, and I was going to tweet out Big Dick Energy. And then I was like, a lot of moms read you. A lot of Christians read you. Maybe you shouldn't cuss. A lot of religious people read you. You should watch your language, But I'm just going to say it now. Because if Chris Murphy can talk about something being impotent, right? If he can talk about something, being impotent, then I can talk about BDE, right? Sorry, we lost our stream here. So if it's okay to say impotence about Trump, then I'm just going to say Big Dick Energy. We have a dumb person saying, pick a side, bro. My side is you're blocked because you're a moron and you don't belong here. Right? So tell me to pick a side. Right? Pick a side. My side is that we're not going to let World War III happen with Iran. And we're not going to support regime change wars. And it's pretty amazing that BDE, forget about Trump 2020. Trump BDE. Trump Big Dick Energy. Right here. So Chris Murphy's calling him impotent one day, and then the next day saying he can't handle that big dick energy of Donald Trump. And if people want to say that's vulgar, I think this guy's vulgar. I think that the words, bad words and everything, I think the overemphasis on bad words will be the death of the republic. Right? This is uncivil. This is dishonest. Everybody, Trump's bad language, Trump this, Mike's language, you're so foul. This is foul. Chris Murphy is foul. This is foul. You want to know what's foul? That people go, vile, disgusting. You say a bad word. Oh, he said a bad word. Oh, my God. James Charles, a makeup artist guy, mouths the N-word, but it's not even with the hard R. It's ending with the A. And he was singing to, oh, my God, he's over. I'm so offended. I can't handle him. This is offensive. Traitors within our country are offensive. This is offensive. Somebody saying some dumb word, some crappy joke, Fuentes, he made that terrible Holocaust. He made a terrible joke. Terrible. You want to talk about vile? Chris Murphy is vile. Chris Murphy is 1,000 times more vile than Nick Fuentes because Chris Murphy has institutional power. Chris Murphy has a vote in the Senate. Chris Murphy is on here saying Trump is a coward, we're weak, and then saying I can't believe Trump had all that power. That's vile. That's disgusting. That's offensive. You want to talk about banning people? Let's ban this hack. Let's ban this hack. I don't get a edgy kids say edgy things. Ooh, I'm so shit. James Charles, lipped out, the N-word with the A. Oh, I'm so, Chris Murphy is offensive. You want to be offended by something? You want to be outraged? You want to have a visceral reaction? Have a visceral reaction to this. Not to some dumb bad words or some edgy kids or people trying to tell bad jokes, show how cool they are, meme. People who have institutional power seeking to undermine the United States of America. People with institutional power who can't even keep it straight for 2 days. It would be one thing. It would be one thing if, right? It would be one thing if, right? If these tweets were 5 years apart, right? Or 3 years apart. We're not digging up tweets 5 years ago, right? We're not digging up tweets. We're looking at tweets 2 days apart. We're literally looking at tweets. This is not, oh, we got you because you said something 5 years ago that you don't believe now. This is 2 days. America has been reduced to huddling in safe rooms, hoping the bad guys will go away. 2 days ago. Attack on our embassy is horrifying. Trump is impotent. Americans are hiding in a safe room. Or cuck room, maybe, is what Chris Murphy's used to. He's probably thinking cuck room is really where he was at. And now I can't believe Trump just did this. I'm appalled. Appalled by this. I'm going to smoke a cigar, people. I'm not going anywhere. Should I smoke a cigar? Do you guys want to hang out and talk a little bit more? By the way, if you want to hang out and talk, press 1. If you want me to wind this down and go smoke my cigar in, because whenever I smoke a cigar, I gotta just these people come in. Smoking a cigar is bad. Thanks. I posted my blood work. I've shown my cholesterol level. Right? Go post your blood work. You're so healthy. Right? My blood work, top. Can't do that anymore because that's offensive. Right? More offended. Oh my God. More offended by hand gestures. This is a Chris Murphy hand gesture, by the way. Not that there's anything wrong with that, right? So I call this a Chris Murphy, Senator Chris Murphy. This is what he would do with the Iranians. I think this means he's throwing rocks. That's what it is. If you're imagining something else, we call this Chris Murphy energy. This is what he would do with the Ayatollah and the terrorists in Iran. He'd do this. But he's throwing rocks. So if you think, this is what Chris Murphy wants to go do in the Middle East. I'll be right back. I'm just literally going to go over here. And we're back. Stogie time. Have a little cigar here. Light up. For those wondering, that cough is not cigar related. I had the cold of death. It's a cough that lingered for about a month. Elijah from Slightly Offensive told me. He said, I told him I had this cold, so that's why I didn't go down to the thing in Florida. And he said, oh, you're going to have that for a month, a cough. Like, bro, I'm not going to have a cough. I've never in my life had a cough for a month. That's just kind of what it was. Just kind of what people have. Love hair. Thanks, Sam. Sean, I don't get it, man. I think I look better with short hair. But women, I think it's like a disconnect. So women like the longer hair better, including Shauna and her mom. And I like the short hair on the sides better. I gotta quit looking at this Chris Murphy thing. It's really making me mad. trying to give up anger in 2020, but I just can't. I just can't handle it, man. There's just something about. So here's what really triggers me, okay? What really triggers me in life isn't the dumb things that people get mad about. Oh, did you see this thing? Oh my God, I can't handle. That doesn't make me mad. People with institutional power like Chris Murphy being a piece of shit, that triggers me. People like this guy going from Trump is impotent, everybody has to hide in the cuck room, to how dare Trump be so powerful. This triggers me. This is what actually, if you ever really want to know how to troll me, insulting me doesn't work, just show me someone with institutional power like a senator being a total piece of shit. And then you can watch me get wound up. This is, you just see this and you're like, you're saying America's weak, Trump is weak, no one will listen to us, we're nothing, to I can't believe we killed the second most powerful person in Iran. I'll brood over that for like an hour. I gotta meditate or do some yoga or something. That really just wounds me up. Grinds my gear. I'm gonna light up. If you are on Facebook, like and share it. Thank you, Josh. I got a super chat from Josh. If you're on YouTube and you want to super chat me, that option is available. He said, bye, Guerrilla Mindset. Exactly. Guerrilla Mindset, though, is not always about being mellow. It's about channeled aggression. Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, like and share this video. And if you're on Twitter, tap all that. But yeah, I've really, a lot of people, anger is all about controlled aggression. So even when people think I'm angry, I'm not angry the way most people are, but they start like just, running around or whatever. I get focused aggression. And because our society has been so feminized, focused aggression is anger and, oh my God, he is so scary. He's so angry. You just don't know what focused aggression looks like. Not unharnessed rage, blind rage, where people just go off and they black out. I don't black out and do dumb things. But when I get mad, I take it all like a laser beam. And I just focus my powers, which can be constructive and building or destructive. If you've ever been on the other end of that, not a good place to be. I take all the anger and just whatever I feel, and I focus it just like a laser beam. And then I go, let's do it. Hold on, let me light up here. Darla's here. Darla, how you doing? It's always good your friends come over. Ali Alexander was here a minute ago. I don't know if he left, but he's here. Jack Basowi's doing his own Periscope. I feel bad. I didn't realize he was doing it. There's something called like counter-programming in the industry, where if somebody, does an event, you do an event to like counter it, but I don't ever like to do that. So I always check to make sure that none of my friends are streaming, because I don't want to stream over them. I want people to watch everybody's streams, but today I didn't see it. My apologies, Poso. I'm smoking the Añejo 55. An Añejo 55 or an Añejo Pyramid. This is, for most cigar smokers, a little bit too much. For me, it's just right. Let me see if I can take calls. You guys want me to take calls? We have not done calls in a long time, but I mean, I pay for the service, so I might as well use it. All right, if you're on, let me give you a number here real quick. We'll get you signed in here, and let me get this logged in here for you. I don't know, does it know my password even? Okay, here we go. Whoa. It still works. Okay. Okay, we're joining. People, hold on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hear you, though. Okay, go ahead and call. Go ahead and call me. Let me get your information for you guys. I haven't done this for a really, really long time. So go ahead and call me, and what is it? 1-866. I think it's 866-438-1487. That's it. 866-438-1487. Go ahead and give me your call, and we'll get you live here. I got the tech for it. That's right. I got the tech for it. I don't have my earpiece. We'll see how it works. I think I got the earpiece right here. Hold on. We'll do a sound check. Whoever calls me first, we'll do a sound check here. Does this matter, right or left? I don't think so. Okay. All right. Hyde Park, New York. How you doing? Okay. You guys hear him? Say something. Hyde Park, New York. I don't hear you. That's a bummer. Maybe it doesn't work. I thought it worked. If you can hear him, press 1. If you can't hear him, press no. If you can hear him, press 1. If you can't hear him, press 2. Let me see if I can get this. We have not done one of these in a very, 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 very long time. And, I definitely miss it. I enjoy these things. But if I can't hear people, We'll get you. All right, we got a bunch of you on hold. All right, so the Bluetooth. Let's try it. All right, try it now. Nobody. We don't hear anybody. We can't hear anybody. Ugh. I hate tech issues. It makes you just like amateur hour here. No. We can't hear. All right, well, such is life, my friends. We tried. Try again. We can't. Okay. Well, we're sorry. Sorry about that. We'll get it set up working. Like I said, I haven't been streaming for a while. People always want to, oh, why aren't you streaming? Just things are, a little boring. I only like to stream when things are interesting. Right? I just like to stream when things are going on that's interesting. So we can't take your calls this time. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, be sure to like and share the video. And if you're on Periscope, I'll read your questions. All right, I'll read your questions if you're on Periscope. What do you want to ask me? I'll read them. What kind of lighter is this? I don't know, just some throwaway. You get the shop. It's butane, but it's nothing, nothing fancy or anything like that. It's just a torch, regular torch. You like $4.99, not $4.99, $4 and kind of 99-cent lighter that you just sort of use. If you're on hold, hang up. Yeah, conference is off, called off. I'm sorry. Let's scroll Twitter together. What's going on Twitter? So, the White House just released a schedule for tomorrow, and real Donald Trump's Evangelicals for Trump event in Miami is still on. I wonder why that was. Wonder why people thought it wouldn't be. She sort of seemed surprised. The president's tomorrow also leaves time for a golf game. So yeah, you always got to laugh now. They're like, oh, the president golfs, and okay. So what? So what? Right? He golfs. So what? Number two terrorist, and Iran are there for the world is set. Here we go. Probably other people are making this joke, but a friend of mine texted me, Obama sent Iran a palace of cash, Trump sent a palace of virgins. That's a good one. That's a good one. So if you get the joke, if the jihadis, they get virgins upon ascension and Biden's statement. President Trump, shut up. If you were in the Obama administration, here, let me see if I can find my what do we got? Ilhan Omar did something else. Okay, so Ilhan Omar, she's obviously upset by this. Of course she is, right? Why wouldn't she be? So here's sort of my take. Is there's room for reasonable disagreement about what happened today. Totally there's room. I don't know the answer. I don't think anybody does. But if you worked in the Obama administration, you do not get to have an opinion. You destroyed Libya. You gave money, to Iran. If you're Ben Rhodes, you don't get to have an opinion. If you are Joe Biden, you don't get to have an opinion. If you're Hillary Clinton, you don't get to have an opinion. If you worked anywhere near the Obama, you don't get to have an opinion. You guys don't know anything, right? You're just buffoons. Here's another guy. I worked the Iran account for years at the NSC. I'm honestly terrified right now. I'm terrified. Oh, I'm so afraid. Did she really do this? Was she really at the... Oh, God. So far what? Look, this is a problem. These are far left-wing groups. Far left-wing groups. What are you doing at the NSC? The NSC. So I worked the Iran account for years, and I'm honestly terrified. God help us. Oh, I'm so afraid. Oh, I'm so afraid. We didn't do such a good job under Obama for 8 years. I feel like I'm being mean. Am I being too mean? Do you think I feel like I'm being a little mean? I don't want to be mean. I want to be mean-spirited, but I'm really am tired of people ruining the world. Right? I'm so tired of it. Really, I accidentally blocked someone. It was a misunderstanding. Yeah, I'm so triggered. I'm so triggered by people like this. I'm so afraid. Then get out of the White House. We don't need cowards. Like, God help us. I picked that up, by the way, from Shauna, where you're just, somebody's such a moron. It's like, you're such a moron. Why did we have people like that ever at the NSC? Right? What in the world? And this is like going like crazy viral. Everybody's like, yeah, go Queen. I'm terrified. I'm so afraid. Why were you there? Because her filter, everything that she interprets is going to be filtered based on this fear. I'm just so tired of these people. I'm so glad they're out. I'm just so glad that Obama's not president. I'm so glad that all of these, not all of them, I mean, look at the Lieutenant Colonel Vindman Chow thief. They're not all gone. But I'm just so glad a lot of them are gone. Because these people are complete total disgrace. I'm so afraid. Go don't work at the NSC then. And then, of course, when you click on their profiles, I don't know if you've heard about CAP National Security. This is a far left-wing group, right? These are far left-wing establishments. So why in the world do we have far left-wing partisans in the National Security Council? And that tells you a lot. That was their foreign policy under Obama, appeasement. Give them billions of dollars. The number ranges from 1.5 billion to 150 billion. Nobody really knows how much he actually gave. And the Russiagate people, of course, are still freaking out because they're like, oh, Putin wouldn't have wanted this. Other people are saying, Josh, I already replied to both your super chats. If you feel bad, I'm sorry. So Josh super chatted me, said I didn't reply to him, but I replied to him. I absolutely replied to them. Somebody said Groypers and Bears, argue with me, I guess, about something. Beats me, because you're not making any kind of sophisticated point other than you're telling me that I can't be happy that a terrorist died because it might set off something. They do nothing, right? That's what I love when people are like, oh, we can't kill him, he's too high level. Then what are we doing? If he's too high level, we can't kill him? For real. Just talk to me about this. People are telling me that we can't be happy that he died because he was too high level. So we're going to just keep fighting low-level people forever? This doesn't make any sense. People are telling me that because I oppose regime wars that I can't be happy that he died? You're not thinking. You're just not. That's why I tell people all the time. You just don't belong. You don't belong here if you don't realize it's possible to oppose regime change wars and also be happy when things happen and also have a level of skepticism as to what might happen next and to admit that we don't know. Correct? People go, oh, this is going to start World War III. How do you know? Well, I just know things. What do you know about the Middle East? Well, I know we've been there for a while. Well, we all know this. And we all know what was done are the most ineffective anti-American regime we've ever had in office. We all know that it was done by people who were like, I was at the NIC, the Iran desk, and I'm so terrified. God help us. Bunch of babies. Or, remember when, like, General Mattis, Mattis left Trump. Such a loss. Can't believe we lost Mattis. Such a, hardcore guy. He read a book. General Mattis read a book by Marcus Aurelius one time. It's so deep. Yeah, there's a guy called Marcus Aurelius, and he wrote a book called Meditations. By the way, Bill Clinton said Meditations was his favorite book. Meditations is the book if you want to, like, look smart but not offend people or seem meteorological. Like, oh, yeah, I read. Because if you say read the Bible, you'll offend atheists. And, so you got to be like, oh, yeah, I read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I'm so deep. It's like this, like 50 pages. And it says things like, let us no longer talk about what a good man is. Let us be good men. Cool bumper sticker, bro. Cool bumper sticker. That's called begging the question because you don't know what a good man is. you know that if men left to their own devices can do some pretty like terrible things. Goodness is the basis of virtue, and virtue comes either from God or from our social constructs, depending on your faith tradition. So if you believe in God, and that can include Allah, it could be the Jewish God, it could be Yahweh, it could be Jesus Christ, it could be whoever you believe in, right? Or whatever your religion is. That's, you live virtue. That's being a good man. Let us no longer talk of what it means to be good men. Let us be good men. That reminds me of like the Buddhist stuff that impresses people. Eliminate all desire. If you eliminated all it's also too, you know, like the principles of it are, people, yeah, spend too much time talking about morality and they're like not good people. So just don't be a hypocrite. If you have an idea of what it is to be a good man, then go be a good man. So there's a sentiment to it. Same thing with Buddhism. Eliminate all desire. Well, then you would die, right? It's been shown that longevity and vitality is linked to desire. Desire is, you would have no sex. Because what makes sex great? Desire. Anticipation. If you eliminate all desire, you would have no will to live. I would say live willfully. Live with passion, aggression, desire. Different point of view. People go, oh, eliminate all desire. Namaste. So deep. I'm so deep. I read the Buddha quote on Successories. How people are, oh, Magdalene Mattis. You read Marcus Aurelius. Let us be good men and no longer talk of what a good man is. So deep. Well, anyway, Mad Dog didn't get this Iranian terrorist, right? What did he do? He's given talks about we need more transgenders in the army. And okay, great. If you support if you think transgenders have a right to serve because it's human right, okay, there's a conversation to be had there. But I can assure you that that is like a 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% issue that actually matters in the army. 75% of Americans aren't even physically fit enough to pass a PT test to serve. Prime fighting age. You want to talk about what really matters for the army. It's people who are physically weak. They get shin splints. They can't even do a road march. Basic training had to be extended because you couldn't just go in there and be in shape in 8 weeks. There's all this remedial training stuff now. So you got people like Mattis, the most important force multiplier. We need the force. It ain't a force multiplier, bro. Big, mean, scary, hard-hitting men are your force multiplier. Sorry for you. That's what you should be talking about. Why are men pathetic? Can't even pass a PT test. Men can't even go to basic in 8 weeks now. You have to extend basic combat training because people are coming in and getting shin splints and crying because they're homesick and they want to quit. That's the issue that matters. But you talk like that, you don't get invited to the old think tanks, right? You're not going to get invited, the old think tanks, the Brookings Institute, Heritage Foundation, those sort of left-wing think tanks. They don't want you to come there and say what America needs in the military is hard-hitting mofos. America military needs badasses. And that distracting from that mission to focus on these issues that apply to such a fraction of a percent is a waste of time and leadership skills. And we need to figure out why America's unfit to fight and why 75% of the American male population couldn't pass basic training in 8 weeks, can't pass a PT test. That's real force. But, that's Mattis. Oh, yeah, transgender military force. This is military things. Everything is like force multiplier. This is the ultimate general cliche. The cliche, if you want to become a general, I'll tell you how to do it. If you want to be a general in the United States military, everything politically correct is a force multiplier. Right? And before I make these impressions, I'll preface it with, I think transgenders have a tough go in life, and I think it's kind of dumb the way people make fun of them, and, I'll call you by whatever pronouns you want to be called by, and I just think we ought to treat people with a general level of decency, okay? So I'll preface it with all of that. And then I'll just say, here's how you become a general. Transgenders in the Army is a force multiplier. Oh, heck yeah, General. But diversity is ultimate force multiplier. We got to get all the readiness. Got to get the quotas, man. We got to make sure that we have the force multiplier. Absolutely, for real. Congratulations, you're a general. But you got to say you're a general. But you got to say force multiplier, right? Because if you don't say force multiplier, then you don't know the lingo, right? You don't know the lingo if you're not saying force multiplier. So everything that's politically correct, force multiplier. Bad language is not a force multiplier. Big, physically fit, hard-hitting guys, not a force multiplier. Transgenders in the military, according to General Mattis, ultimate force multiplier. That's what we need more of. Okay. And that's what Mattis and all of Obama's generals are focused on. That's why they lose wars. Right? Remember that time Stern was the smartest cat in the game? I mean, pretty high up there. Oh, God, I got to block all these guys. Remember when Stern was Zionist funds? Actually, no, I could have. If I wanted funding from people, I wouldn't ask the Zionists. I would ask the Open Borders Chamber of Commerce people. That's what I mean. My general lack of respect for these, we're such edgy Zoomers. My general lack of respect is not that they're offensive. It's just they're kind of dumb. Oh, yeah, Cernovich wants Zionists. No, the money is with the Chamber of Commerce. The day that you see me, right, start talking about, we need to have more immigration in America because there's a labor shortage. That's where the money is. The money is in, Americans aren't smart enough to be computer programmers. Americans aren't smart enough to do IT work. You got to train the replacements. That's when you know them taking the big bucks. There's no money in the Zionist money. That is anti-Semitic. Right? You're talking to a guy who's been called anti-Semitic, telling you that you're anti-Semitic, because that's how anti-Semitic you are. If your first thought is, Zionist money, not Chamber of Commerce money, then you're an anti-Semite. Because you're just perpetrating these conspiracy cuckoo things that aren't just true. That's what gets me. When people go, what about the USS Liberty? It's like, okay, I've heard about it. I've talked about it before. I'm not going to talk about it every day. I think it's weird that that's the only thing people ever bring up. I think it's weird that people don't bring up Lyndon B. Johnson's role in all that, in the Gulf of Tonkin, and that the issue had much less to do with Israel, qua Israel, and much more to do with the military-industrial complex, right? But it's like, I'm not afraid. So edgy. It's not edgy. Things you people say for the most part just moronic. You're shilling for the Zio bucks. What Zio bucks? Chamber of Commerce bucks? That's a different story. Yeah, and people who are all obsessed about USS Liberty and other things, they don't ever talk about how the Vietnam War was started by a false flag operation. That's why people now believe in all the false flags. Right? That's why people go, Alex Jones is such a great, I said his name, I'm probably going to get this stream pulled, whatever, I don't care. And you're like, the Gulf of Tonkin incident was a false flag, and there's some evidence that World War II, the attack on the Lithuania, was also orchestrated by the U.S., right? Also a lot of information that World War II, there was advanced knowledge of Pearl Harbor, but hey, you let that happen, that way people get into the war. But they only talk about, one little thing. They don't talk about all this other stuff. And then that's what people call you that. If your whole thing is, I'm talking about the Gulf of Tonkin, the Vietnam War, or whatever, then yeah, you're just okay. You're just criticizing all of these events that were wrong. Okay, then you're not an anti-Semite or whatever. But the only thing is, USS Liberty, then a little sus, as the kids say. As the kids say, it's a little sus. Little sus. Bring it back, might talk about history more. It's sort of, if we're talking about history, and this is where my view on the military is kind of changing. And here's what I mean by that. I'm obviously against regime change wars, but I haven't found a solution to just a fundamental principle that if you become weak, some other group, it's going to be men always. That's where the feminists have a kind of point. Aggression is always going to be male, almost always. If you become weak, some other group of men is just going to come and take your shit. And that's on a small, micro level. And that's true on a global level. If you become weak, they're going to take your shit. Even if you're not weak, but they're stronger, they're going to come take your shit. So then you read about the Armenian genocide, the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. You read about the Holocaust. You read about Stalin and the gulags, the purges. You read about the rape of Berlin, by the way, which was perpetrated against children, grandmothers, people that had nothing to do with Hitler by the Soviet Red Army. They raped every woman from 8 to 80. It's horrific. If you ever want to really become kind of woke on what you're not taught in history, just Google the rape of Berlin. But the rape of Berlin was covered up because the Soviet Union was an ally of the U.S. during World War II, so therefore they're the good guys. And then those were probably Nazi women anyway, but when you actually look at the voting patterns, Hitler never won a majority of the vote. No, he never came close. He never got above 30-some%. He took his power through a coup and da-da-da-da. So they're the women who were being raped by the Red Army, and they were children, so the children aren't responsible. If they raped everybody, they would just throw mattresses down in the streets, and they would just gang rape them. It's horrific. Read all about it. And then wonder why nobody ever teach me this in history. Because we're always told, the rape of Nan King is another one. Because we're always told, oh yeah, history they never taught you. Columbus was a bad man. Okay, Chris Columbus. Chris Columbus wasn't the conquistadors. I mean, Chris Columbus was kind of there. He was more complicit than evil. Right. Christopher Columbus was more complicit than actually evil in of himself. The more evil, like King Leopold, Belgium, and the Congo, what they would do. I mean, it's horrific stuff. But then you had the Barbary slave trade, book on that called White Gold. It's over 1 million to 1.5 million white people were kept as slaves by Muslims. There's no reparations for that. So it was oh yeah, you don't know the real history. And you're oh God, Christopher Columbus was actually evil. Oh no. Oh, I can't. Right? It's like edgy alert, edgelord alert. Oh no, you're about to drop some alternative. Oh, Christopher Columbus is bad. Founding fathers are evil. Thomas Jefferson raped a slave. Woke. Mic drop. Oh, Barbary slave trade. You're right. You want to talk about things. Talk about that, or talk about how these people fly these little hammer and sickles in the rape of Berlin. So if you're flying a hammer and sickle, you support raping children because that's literally what the Soviet Army did in the rape of Berlin. Oh, edge. So they think they're edgy. You're not. They're just cliche. America's bad. Columbus is just an evil guy or whatever. So me, the more I study history, the more I'm as much as I might be against these regime change wars and these wars in Iraq and other things, I'm kind of glad we got a pretty badass military. I got a super chat. I got some super chats. Sorry, I'm not avoiding you people. I usually don't read the YouTube comments because they're the worst. So this is nothing. There's nothing for you. But I usually don't read YouTube comments because I can always anticipate those are the worst ones. So Periscope is usually the best ones, and then Facebook's the most kind of normie. So the way I would put it is, the worst people are on YouTube. The most normie kind of, I don't want to say boring because I don't insult people. So present company excluded. But the most boring kind of normie people are on Facebook. And then the smartest people are on Twitter. That's why I spend the most of my time on Twitter. I could spend all the time on Twitter. I could spend on Facebook and actually reach way more people. But I read the comments on my Facebook. I'm oh my God, I just can't handle this. This level of normalcy, conventional thinking. And then YouTube, I usually just don't read the comments because I'm oh, I know what it's going to be. Cernovich, the Zionists took you over. You're a cuck. You're afraid to talk about this. I know where it's going to go. So I will read your super chats now. I don't want to leave you hanging. You want President Trump to take down the Mexican cartels? Love your energy, Mike. Well, thank you, Noble Shadow. I don't know what taking down the cartels will look like. So I'm in principle. I mean, obviously, it's a very evil group, but I don't know what it looks like. Roger, I just want to give you a shout out and appreciate your work. I'm a social study teacher in a little state, so my kids know that you're welcome. And that's why I think it's important, like me, for people to tell a broad-based truth, right? I think my job is kind of telling people, a very sort of broad-based truth about the world, and not focusing on any one point in history. I follow, if you want to know my worldview. Oh, by the way, here's how to get a block. Hey, Michael, this is what I call, it's not really a question. You're just such a passive-aggressive nothing that this is how you talk. Hey, Michael, do you still not care if Trump doesn't get reelected like you said last year? Right? That's where they're like, ooh, I'm holding something over him. That's just, you're passive aggressive, nothing, who's afraid to make a point. And I can tell you that if you go through life this way, women will not desire you, men will not respect you. And you are now blocked from this channel because you're just a passive aggressive nothing. Cernovich, pushing fear trauma agenda. World War III question mark. You can't even spell my name right. So I block people. That's why I was like when people are like, oh, you only say things for popularity. You know how many people I block every day? I block more people a day than if you got that many people follow, you'd be happy. Here's what I mean by that. If you had a social media account and you had 100 people a day follow you, new people a day, that would actually be like really strong growth. Even if you're a big account, 100 new followers a day, that's 3,000 a month. You know, we're talking real numbers here. I block that many people a day. And so when people go, oh, you're just saying this to pander, to be popular, it's like, I make it every day so fewer people can read me. Because I read you. Someone says, I've loved your work since I found you in 2016. Well, thank you. Tom Chalet's here. Tom, good to hear from you, Tom. Good to see you. All right, let's go see what we got going on. YouTube. You wish you still smoked. Well, it depends what you smoke. If it's a cigar occasionally, that's fine. So what are the possibilities of World War III? I rate it very low probability. Super low probability. Like almost, way, way, way down the list. And moreover, we don't even really know what World War III looks like. So there's a lot of in life, right, known unknowns, where what would World War III really look like? Does anybody even know? Because we have this conceptual World War II, we have this conceptual World War I, right? Then we have a conceptual World War II, and then we have a conceptual World War III. Well, World War I and World War II are quite different. World War I was trench warfare, right? World War I was trench warfare of how many people can die and what side can afford the least, or to lose the most amount of people. That was World War I. World War I is, again, so we talk about the war in Iraq. When you look at the sheer totals of World War I, it's horrific. And then when you look at the sheer totals of World War II, it's like actually unfathomable. And then you look at how many the Soviet Union lost relative to everyone else. And the numbers are, and I mean this in a literal sense, they're incomprehensible. What does it mean to lose 50 million people? I don't know. How do you even describe 50 million people dying in a war? What does that even look like? Or even only, right? We know what in America, losing, thousands of soldiers and having tens of thousands of soldiers with PTSD, all these other kind of conditions, problems and whatnot, we kind of know what that looks like. What would that look like? 1 million? What if 1 million people had died in the Middle Eastern War? I can't even comprehend it. Can you? To be honest, right? I think that's why a lot of people kind of enjoy watching me ramble and rant and everything else is I'm honest enough to say I don't know what it would be like for America to lose 1 million people. Somebody Google how many people died in World War I for U.S., right? How many people died in World War II in the U.S.? So Vietnam, 75,000 died, I believe. And Vietnam completely reshaped the culture. Only, quote unquote, only 75,000. Only, quote unquote. And we consider that like a massive amount, a massive debacle. What would 10 times that, 750,000 people die? I don't know, man. Can anybody comprehend it? Joshua says, any hint on your secret project? No, I can't give you a hint because there's been a lot of things I've been doing behind the scenes. It's also I've been streaming less. And when it's out, it's out. When it's out, it's out. The Audacity Masterclass, I have the video, I just have to chop it up. So I recorded the masterclass for Audacity almost a year ago, and then I got so busy with this other project, I haven't been able to go through and, chop up the videos into segments and do everything else. Herb Seasoning says, if we only took out the small fry big guys, one fierce. Number 2 in Iran makes one sweat. Thanks to stream, sir. Yeah, exactly. So Chris Murphy is upset that we killed somebody too high up the food chain. Sometimes I feel bad because we live in a glib age, and by glib I mean a superficial age, where everyone has a hot take. There's not a lot of spiritual, emotional depth. And then when I laugh, I feel like I'm being glib. I'm not being glib. There's a laughter that comes out of a sense of absurdity. The laughter that makes you laugh instead of cry. The feeling that makes you laugh instead of cry. Because Chris Murphy is saying, here, I'll go find the tweet. So Chris Murphy is saying, we killed too many, they're too powerful. 2 days ago, he's saying we're impotent, we can't kill anybody. New Year's Eve. Great New Year's Eve tweet, Chris. Happy New Year to you too, buddy. So New Year's Eve, Chris Murphy is saying, we're impotent, we're not killing anybody, nobody's afraid of us, to we killed somebody too powerful. That's absurd. It is absurd. The reason you laugh as a defense mechanism to that is because you would cry if you realize this guy's in the Senate. This is one of the most powerful people, in the U.S. This is the kind of morons we have in the Senate. So you would just break down in tears. You would wallow, you would wail, you would cry out, Lord, what has happened to our country? You read some just moron like this. Or you can just take my approach, was to say, this guy's just completely absurd. These are the kind of morons we have, man. This is why we believe in living government. This is why we believe in small government. Because these are the kind of morons who would be running every aspect of your life, so how about we not let them run much in our life? How about we limit their power? Because this is the kind of buffoonery that we would be dealing with. I mean, vaping now, you can't vape till you're 21. Thanks, Trump. Good job on that. Can't vape till you're 21. Can't smoke a cigar till you're 21. Oh, but you can go to war in Iran. So if we do have World War III, there will be a draft. And if you're 18, your butt will be shipped out. Somebody should tweet these. They're good hot takes, right? This is what I mean by the glib age. The glib age is your hot takes are kind of shallow. Old enough to be drafted, to go to World War III in Iran, can't vape. And, the flip side to that is, even though that's glib, it's actually true, which is why I call the era we live in the glib age. They called an earlier age in American history the Gilded Age because everything was fake gold, the Gilded Age. And I call the era we live in the glib age because that point that I said sounds like a very moronic, superficial, dumb thing to say, and yet that is our age. We live in an age where you have to register for the draft when you turn 18, if you're a man. They try to change it to make women register too. I didn't follow up if that ever happened. We live in an age where you have to register for the draft at 18, but you can't smoke a Juul. Too dangerous. Too dangerous for you to smoke a Juul if you're 19, 20. But you know what? We'll draft you for selective service. We'll send you to Iran and give you a gun. Because that makes sense? So we do live in just a truly moronic time, a glib time, a superficial time, a time where you don't have depth or complexity or nuance. Vaping is a force multiplier. Vaping is a force multiplier. I'm pro nicotine and caffeine. I'm anti-marijuana. I'm anti-marijuana. I'm anti-opioids. I'm pro nicotine. I'm pro caffeine. I am pro get amped, get hyped. Let's make it happen. I'm pro stimulant. I'm pro modafinil. I'm pro testosterone. So I'm pro drug, but I'm pro drugs that get you hyped. So a Juul, we ought to be issuing Juuls, call them nicotine delivery systems, to every combat soldier and make sure the supply chain is good because they are addicting. And just keep them all in Juuls all day, amped up. We need to be issuing modafinil to the troops. Testosterone injections. 300 milligrams per soldier. I mean, you're going to make them take all these vaccines and whatever. And, these... Remember, I went to basic training, and you get so many vaccinations at once, they have an air gun. I actually thought it was a false memory. Did anybody here go to basic training? I don't know if they still do this. Anybody here go to basic combat training? So I went in 95. I thought this was a false memory, so I had to Google to see if it's really true. You get your vaccines in it was like an air gun. I said, there's no way in the world. I go, this is probably a false memory. And then I went and looked it up, and I typed in vaccines air gun, and sure enough, it wasn't. It wasn't. So they pump you with so many drugs in the military. Okay, shoot people up with testosterone, right? Or pellets. You can give everybody pellet, and then it's a different release of testosterone over, say, the course of like 6 months. So, you give all these people all these other injections. Every infantryman, 200 milligrams is enough. Every infantryman, 200 milligrams of testosterone. But the only people who can get hormones in the army is transgender. That's what I mean by, again, like the glib age. So if you went and you said, Doc, I'm in the infantry. These rucksacks are tearing my body down. I need 200 milligrams of testosterone a week. They would say, how dare you? Modulating your hormones is very dangerous. Many side effects. We can't do that. Okay. You go and you say, Doc, I'm a man, biologically born as one. I need hormones because I'm actually female. Oh, sure. Oh, come on in. Force multiplier. Oh, hope you're not offended. Hope we didn't ask you too many questions. Come on in. Get all the hormones you want. So if you want a hormone to just be a more ferocious fighting machine, you won't get it. But if you want to be a hormone, if you want to get hormones for, another purpose, you can't do that, right? That's too risky, too dangerous. It was the best of times. It was not the best of times and the worst of times. It was the smartest of times and the stupidest of times. It was the most moronic of times. Because what I just said would get you, if you were in the military, end your career. If you were an officer, if you were a general, and you said, I think that we ought to prescribe testosterone to infantrymen, that your career be over. That they would be mortified. I can tell you, look at that Fenman, right? I don't know how he couldn't even squeeze into his uniform anymore. Parts of him are like spilling out, his neck is like, he's got sleep apnea, Which is fine if some of you watching have sleep apnea, but if you want to be an infantry officer, you ought to be able to sleep without a CPAP. And your career would be over. Your career would be over. If you said, no, we should be giving testosterone to our infantrymen. Give them the pellets. That way you don't have supply chain issues, because logistics, what do they say? Amateurs talk tactics, professionals talk logistics. There's a lot of truth to that. So anytime you think about something, as well, what logistics of it would be the supply chain. How would you get it to people? And then you realize, well, pellets would be better than injections. You wouldn't have to worry about, sterile needles and, a whole host of other issues. So yeah, but again, your career would be over. But why would your career be over if you suggested that we give testosterone injections to infantrymen? And you would get a promotion if you said that transgender military is a force multiplier. Right? Tolerance is a force multiplier. Tolerance is not a force multiplier. Hard-hitting, savage men are military force multipliers. I mean, I wish it were otherwise. I wish, I don't know if you ever watch, I watched The Witcher, it's a good show. I wish that instead of savage men, we had all these, like, hot witches doing all this magic and stuff. Like, wow, these witches are hot, And that would be nice, but that's why it's called fantasy. In the fantasy world, that you have all these attractive women with cleavage showing doing magic stuff. In the real world, they're just big, strong men kicking down doors, shooting people in the head, right? That's the real force multiplier. Go in the gym's a force multiplier. Again, though, we live in a dumb time. Hold on, I got another super chat. Why isn't the right mad at Trump for monetizing the debt? I don't know. Nobody cares anymore about the deficit. So that's a good question, which is when at least Democrats are more principled on this. So when Democrats are in power, the Republicans scream, "We got deficit, can't believe it. This is awful." And then when Republicans are in power, Democrats are like, "Let's just spend." And Republicans are like, "Yeah, let's just spend. I'm glad we don't have to like pretend like we care anymore." And the answer is nobody cares. Nobody cares about deficits anymore. They just don't care. Nobody cares that we're still printing money. The stock market might be artificially propped up. Quantitative easing never stopped. Just nobody cares. Okay, YouTubers, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you're on YouTube, like, give me an emoji before I go. If you're on Twitter, tap the screen a few times. It's been great talking to you people. I don't think we're going to go to World War III. So to sum it up, I don't think we're anywhere near World War III. However, we should be monitoring the situation closely, as Trump is doing with social media. He's monitoring it closely. And it's okay to oppose regime change and be happy that a terrorist leader is dead.